New passage for questions 6 to 8. So again, I recommend you try these 3 questions first, read the passage, and then take a look at these videos. So the first question, the passage most strongly suggests that researchers at the Martin Prosperity Institute share which assumption? So what is some underlying grounding belief that these researchers share? This passage, if you recall, is about commuting and about despite the efforts to reduce commuting, despite the changes in the economy, which might reduce commuting time, times to commute are growing, they're continuing to increase, and it's at a huge cost to the economy in lost productivity, lost time at work, and so on. So the question is, what assumption underlies this entire passage? So first, do they assume that employees who work from home are more valuable to their employers than employees who commute? I don't think they mention employees working from home at all. So I don't even think that's even possible to even think about as a choice here. Yeah, I don't think they mention employees working from home. Even if they did, this is not an assumption they're making. They're not talking about, oh, should employees work from home? Would that produce more value than if they don't? I guess you can say, well, if they're working from home, they're not commuting, so maybe, but they're not really talking about working at home here. So we can safely get rid of A. Employees whose commutes are shortened will use the time saved to do additional productive work for their employers. Aha. The whole premise of the passage is that commuting is not just annoying, it wastes money. It burns money because employees are sitting in traffic commuting to work rather than at their desks working, right? We can see a number of places where this is implied. So for example, the first lines here, the costs are astounding. In Los Angeles, congestion eats up more than 485 million working hours a year. That's 70 hours or nearly 2 weeks of full-time work per commuter. We can go down and we can see that the overall cost to the U.S. economy is nearly $30 billion when lost productivity and wasted fuel are taken into account. We can see that commuting wastes 4.2 billion hours of work time annually. And then this discussion here again talks about the savings that could be won, the gains in productivity that could be won if you shave time off of the commute. So the whole assumption here is that if commuting time gets cut down, that time will go into production, that it'll go into employees doing their work. Is that a fair assumption? Maybe, but that's something they're assuming. They're assuming that all this commuting time is time that's eating into productivity rather than time that could be eating into leisure or rest or whatever. So that looks like a pretty good choice. So we like B. How about C? Employees can conduct business activities such as composing memos or joining conference calls while commuting. Does not mention that at all. That's a pretty bad idea probably, but not mentioned in the passage. The passage is talking about reducing commuting time, not trying to make people productive in their commute. Employees who have lengthy commutes tend to make more money than employees who have shorter commutes. I don't think, again, they mention anything like that anywhere. It's not about who makes more money. It's about where wasted time and productivity is going, and it's going into these commutes. So the answer to this one for sure is choice B. Assumption questions on the old SAT typically were some of the tougher questions on the test, and I think this one could be pretty tough. It's a general question, so one we would definitely leave until the end. But again, 4 choices I think really helps here because really 2 of the choices I think are going to be crazy. You might perhaps get stuck on, let's see, trap choices here. This was ranked a medium, I believe, but let's see. Maybe get stuck on choice A, perhaps, maybe choice C. There's some possibilities here for traps, but really once you read the passage, you understand it, you've done the specific questions first, you have a better understanding of the passage as a whole, I think it would lead you to B pretty clearly. Again, even if it's an assumption question, there's got to be evidence in the passage. We were able to go into the passage and underline the portions of the text that supported our answer, and that just gives us some confidence that our answer is going to be the correct one. So this one is choice B, pretty standard assumption question.